What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio right here from the Wynn Casino and live from the Blue Wire studio. This is episode number, I don't know. What's up, Danny Alvarez? What's going on?
What up, brother? How you feeling, man? It's fight week.
It is.
Canelo, Triple G3, the trilogy. Finally, 4 years later since the last time both men stepped into the ring, and I'm excited.
I am excited myself because this is my first Canelo big fight that I'm living in Vegas. So I'll get to experience the increase in traffic, the influx in tourism, you know.
Obviously, the first one here at the Blue Wire studio.
Exactly.
Got in here just in time. So
coming out of the elevator right away, a Latino was like, Canelo, and, you know, I'm like, vámonos, you know, and we both just kept it moving.
Right.
Even here, you know, they knocked on the window, and it's like he's got a Canelo hat, I got the Canelo shirt. I'm like this, he's like this. So it's new and exciting for me. But I didn't feel the fighter arrivals.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, so that's probably why.
So what Triple G had, you know, they did some sort of arrival with him in an airport and a private jet. What was that, a takeoff or a landing?
No, I'm sure that was him landing in Vegas, but the actual fight week event of the fighter arrival will be taking place at the top of the hour. So 1 p.m. Pacific, the fighter arrivals will take place for Canelo and Triple G.
Okay, because I was going to say usually, you know, Mayweather did have his fighter arrivals on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesdays. Typically always has been Tuesdays. You and I have disagreed on a few events where you weren't living here yet, but you flew in for. And, you know, I think sometimes fight weeks tend to pick up closer to the end of the week, Thursday and Friday. You know, once you get your press conference, that's when you get people starting to come in more. Thursdays, you know, Friday for the weigh-in, and then obviously Saturday's the fight. So,
which is sad and unfortunate. Honestly, people need to come in, take advantage of the, you know, cheaper prices in flights and hotels for making it a longer stay, and take advantage of the festivities. Like you said, fighter arrivals is today. But look, you got 7 years living in Las Vegas. How's it feel? Or is it too soon? Do you need this afternoon to fully come and go before you can say?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I have no expectations to feel anything till Thursday. If I feel anything at all before Thursday, I find that, you know, I'd be a bit impressed. And
what is that?
Here's why, right? Fighter arrivals are today. Typically, when Canelo has fought, or any other major fighter here in the city of Las Vegas have fought with a different promoter, Wednesdays will be your press conference, or maybe your undercard press conference, and then your main event press conference on another occasion. So tomorrow there is no fight week event. So it's like, what would really draw people into the city? Why would they come in on Wednesday for the fight when there is no fight event? So I think that Thursday we should start to feel a bit more energy. I think Thursday we'll see a bit more people outside of this beautiful glass inside of this Blue Wire studio here at the Wynn. More foot traffic, more of those Mexican colors, given that this weekend is Mexican Independence Day. So I think we'll start to see more of that towards the end of this week.
In your previous 7 years here, though, where have you never had fight week for Canelo specifically pick up before Thursday?
No, absolutely. And you will see.
Do you remember the fight?
I mean, pick a fight. Like, they all have momentum. They all have, you'll see the fans, and we'll see the footage of it today. I'm sure there'll be a few hundred fans, you know, there for the fighter arrivals. But, you know, I'm expecting 50,000 Mexicans, if not more, in Vegas this weekend for the fight. Obviously, there's only going to be 20,000 people in attendance. I'm expecting at least double that. You know, people come out for the parties, for the festivities. Then they're going to the clubs or the casinos, wherever, to watch the fight if they can't get a ticket in. So people are coming for the festivities nonetheless. But yeah, there's always gonna be buzz behind Canelo. Behind
But do you
Floyd.
remember a specific fight where it started before the Thursday for you? And I mean Canelo, not just any fight week in Vegas. A Canelo fight week that you felt like, yeah, that fight, it was already jumping way before the final press conference.
Yeah, I could honestly say both of the Golovkin fights. The first one, I went to all fight week events as a fan. So I was there. I got to experience, the fan aspect of it. The second fight, I got to experience the media aspect of it. I think those two have definitely moved the needle more than the other ones, for sure. That's like a no question for me. Both Triple G fights, I think, have moved the needle. And I would say the Cotto fight, but that one, I think you had a good share of Mexicans and Puerto Rican fans for that one too.
Were you around, whether obviously not working, but regardless, for Mayweather Canelo?
No. No.
I'm wondering how those fighter arrivals were.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of fight where you probably won't get a couple hundred fans at the fight. You're getting a couple thousand fans
That's
at the
what I'm
fight
saying, 'cause
arrival. For some of these big fights, the weigh-ins especially, you'll get fans starting to line up at 6, 7 in the morning.
No, I remember for Mayweather Pacquiao, they sold tickets to get into the weigh-in at the MGM.
Ticket proceeds did go to charity. Because I know you were here covering it, but you got to pick which fighter you wanted to buy the ticket for, because Floyd had picked a charity of his choosing and Manny had picked a charity of his choosing as well. But yes, I mean, we may see it with this one, Ness. It's been 4 years since the last one, though. That's my only concern. It's been 4 years since the last one. We've seen Canelo lose since then. We have not seen that much of Gennadiy. What we have seen, not the most impressive, but nonetheless, we are here. Canelo Triple G3. It is fight week, and we'll see, because like I said, for the previous two fights, those definitely had buzz more than any other Canelo fight in Las Vegas.
Well, let's bring in our first and only guest, Ken Porter. He is a Las Vegas resident, obviously originally from Ohio. So we'll see his, I guess, opinion on, fight weeks over the time, and then just pick his brain and find out how. Well, we'll wait for him to sit down, not to repeat it. Ken, what's up?
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm good. But I am. I got to start right with this first question, because when I got in here, everybody's like, chattering, and they're like, and it's like, yo, how'd you get Ken Porter before Sean? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, Ken's never been in here. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So, have you not been in this studio?
Nah, this is my first time.
Wow.
Thanks for inviting me.
Ooh, wait. You know Ness is messy. Are you specifically saying thanks for inviting me to insinuate Sean hasn't invited you?
Of course he's invited.
Oh.
No, he hasn't invited me.
Really?
But he's invited me, but not invited me here.
What? What do you mean?
It's invited to the show, not to this particular place. I've been invited to the show, yes.
But this is the show.
Yeah, but again, the show has been in different places.
Oh, okay.
And different
Okay, you
things
mean
and-
throughout the years until it originally got here. So when he's here, you haven't been invited to this specific building.
No.
Okay. Nonetheless,
There's a difference between you and Sean.
Okay. I mean, of course, that's your son. I don't even want to hear the differences.
The
Don't make me feel bad.
difference is I
don't
like
want to hear
you.
it.
I like you.
He know how to put a smile on my face.
I love him. There's a difference.
Wait, you took my smile away. That's all right.
I mean,
It's all right.
shit, he gonna love his son. He ain't
Of
gotta like
course.
you.
Of course,
Who
you're
is
right.
you?
You're right. So I was asking Danny, who has 7 years in Las Vegas, does it feel like a Canelo fight week? Specifically, Canelo, you've been a resident of Las Vegas for quite some time. Are you feeling like Saturday night Canelo's going to be fighting Triple G?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No.
When does it usually start for you?
It kind of starts when, the fighter arrivals get started, that kind of thing going on. You seeing different people walking with the flags. You seeing different people with the T-shirts. People are yelling at you, yelling Canelo's name, that kind of thing. That's kind of when I start to feel it.
Now, how long have you been in Vegas?
Been in Vegas since 2013, but been working in and out of Vegas since 2006. Come in for camps 6 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, whatever, since way back in 2006. Yeah.
Is it safe to say you love it out here?
Oh, yeah, I love Vegas.
Would you consider yourself a Las Vegan at this point?
Is that what you call it? A Las Vegan?
That's the proper terminology.
You know where it's not where you from, it's where you at. So I definitely don't consider myself to be, from anywhere else but here. This is it. So when I'm here, this is where I'm at.
So now, do you feel that way because it caters to boxing and you're in the industry, or would you still love Vegas if you were not in this sport anymore?
It was always my plan to come here. So I would say yes, even if I'm not in the sport. But I do travel a lot, and I have a lot of other places I enjoy going to, but I always come back to what I consider to be home, which is Vegas.
Can you see retirement here, or you think you're more of a Floridian for retirement?
I'm never going to stop moving. I'm going to keep traveling and doing things, and enjoying my life. But, yeah, I got things going on here. I got things going on in Florida. I got things going on in the Dominican Republic. And I enjoy going to a lot of different places like that. I never stay in Vegas throughout the winter, the entire winter. I'm gone to warmer climates. And I won't stay here when it's, July and August either. I'll do a lot of traveling. So I've been in and out of state every month this year.
Wow. Do you get tired of the travel?
I love it. I love traveling. I enjoy.
But the physical, like the flying, the coming to the airport before and the luggage, and that doesn't bother you?
I got
plane?
a lot of shortcuts. TSA, global stuff.
Clear, you got clear?
I got clear. I got
pre-check.
Yeah, TSA, clear. I got, I got these different kind of bags that I can, get through the airport with, one on my back, one right here. And then I love to shop, so I'll buy clothes when I get where I'm at. If I need something, if I don't got all my workout gear, I buy something there,
So you spoke about the Dominican Republic. Where else has boxing taken you on an international level, whether you were a trainer, it was a fight, or you were vacationing?
Boxing. Let's see. Everywhere from Venezuela to obviously the UK multiple times. Won the UK Commonwealth Heavyweight Championship over there.
With Lemuel Thomas?
Lemuel Thomas.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was my boy.
Yeah, we did that. Morocco. Oh,
wow. Morocco. Oh, because you went back to fight Allen on a matchroom card.
These were world championships, amateur world championships. Morocco. Again, let's see. Russia, Ukraine, both of those now fighting, but I've been to both of those places within like a 6-week period. I was with Team USA, and I was a head coach that went to Russia, and then we stayed in Russia for 3 weeks, and then we went over to the Ukraine for 3 weeks, fought both of those teams. Of course, Alexander Usyk was over there at that time. The Klitschko's were there. I was in the gym with the Klitschko's.
Can't let you bring up Usyk. So did Sean fight him over there?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
He had already won his gold medal at this point. That was actually, I went over there. That was 2012. So my team was headed up by Errol Spence. He was the top guy on that team in 12. Yeah. So those are a lot of the places, and then in terms of travel, like just vacation and everywhere you can think of, from Bahamas to multiple times going to Dominican Republic, Mexico,
What was the
Jamaica.
trip? What was the trip that made you fall in love with traveling, Ken?
The trip that made me fall in love. You know what? I won't say it was one trip. It was all things, from at a young age, traveling with my grandmother. My grandmother took me everywhere with her. An older person who had nobody to travel with him, just dragging a kid around. So she took me everywhere. So, she would take me to Detroit. She would take me to Baltimore, Maryland. She would take me to D.C. And all of this would happen in one summer. We'd go from city to city, visiting all these family members. So that's just something that's embedded in me from an early age.
How were you when you had Sean?
18, 19 years old, longer than that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Back-to-back babies with him and his brother.
And what were you doing at the time as an 18-year-old? Were you with your parents, or were you already on your own?
No, I was out.
In Cleveland or Akron?
No, Cleveland. I've never lived in Akron. People always throw that out there. It's always going to be something that they do, but I've never.
What about Sean's mother? Is she from Akron?
No.
Where the hell people get this Akron thing from?
Because of the LeBron thing and the closeness of the proximity of the actual suburb or other city that we lived in, which would be considered a suburb of Akron, but it was its own city.
Mm-hmm.
So we lived in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and we also lived in Stowe Monroe Falls, Ohio. And that was just like 15 minutes away from Akron. Mm. So because that was so close, the proximity of that, people would say Akron. And Akron was a lot closer to those cities than it was than Cleveland was. Cleveland was about 30 miles or more from that city.
So you're 18. Are you into boxing at all at this age?
Yeah, but I was away from boxing. So I did box at a younger age, like 12, 13, 14, along in there. Away from boxing, playing football, doing all these different things. Coming out of high school, it's go to college, go to trade school, go to school. So I came out of high school, went straight into school for a year, and then it's try to get a job, and then it's, oh, you had a baby, now you need 2 jobs, and so that kind of thing. So when I went back into boxing at like 2021, when I went back into boxing, it was just 40-hour-week job, and then you box in the afternoon type thing.
So at 20 years old, you're still trying to be a fighter, or you've decided I'm going to learn how to be a coach now?
Nah, I was boxing. I was competing. But as I was competing, just because that's who I am, I was helping out kids. So my first fighter, the very first kid that I got a hold to, in my early 20s, he was like 14 years old. First kid I trained. We win the state, the region. He goes to the nationals, and we get to the national championship, and he makes it to the finals of the national championship. This was in the 90s. So far back, the guy we fought in the finals for the championship was Hector Camacho Jr. And they were 14. That's how far that goes back.
Wow.
That was my first fighter that I trained on my own, and how'd you
get him? Lucky. How'd you get him? A 20-year-old kid in the gym. How did the other trainers let you just start training a 14-year-old?
They didn't just let me.
Exactly. That's the story I want.
Nah, they didn't let me. I was a little more than 20 at that time, but they didn't just let me. It was like they didn't pay attention to the kids. They didn't help the kids. I saw somebody with talent, and I'm always trying to help a kid, so I started helping him. He's training with me, just working out with me. Mm-hmm. And then I actually officially became a trainer and got a license. Then once he wins state and wins region and goes in nationals, they stole him from me. So this is how the story goes with actually how things happen with Sean and his brother. So the kid comes back from the nationals, and everybody's, excited. Everybody's hugging him, kissing him, doing this thing, this type of stuff. And people are actually starting to give him gifts. buying him Jordans, buying him, jeans, hats, hoodies. They giving him boxing gear, all this stuff, right? And I come to the gym one day and I'm getting ready to work him out. And one of the older trainers said, I got him today. That type of thing. And they thought they could say that kind of thing because it wasn't my gym. I was a young kid and I was boxing. I wasn't even, really a trainer to them at this point. So they tried working with him and he didn't really want to do much with him. So he came back over to me that day. Well, they had to try to divide and conquer at this point. So what they did was they brought a family member of his in, who was an uncle. Mm-hmm. The uncle comes in, and the uncle is critiquing the way I got the kid hitting the bag. Why you got him hitting the bag like that? That ain't right. That don't look good. You messing my nephew up. He not throwing his hook right. There's all this kind of stuff going on. I'm younger than the uncle. I'm younger than all the coaches in there. I'm kind of looking over at the ring. Is it time for me to spar yet? You know what I mean? I'm caught in between situations here. And I got this guy, telling his nephew, I'm not training him right. Let me show you how to throw that punch, nephew. Now, the divide and conquer is, does the kid choose between family or does he choose between his coach? Mm. So I thought about it. The guy challenged me to a fight. He was a former pro fighter himself.
The trainer?
The trainer.
Oh, wow.
Well, he was the uncle.
Okay.
He wanted to fight me. And I thought about it. By the time we get ready to leave the gym at this particular time today, it's going to be a fight in this parking lot, right? I'm going to beat this dude up. I enjoy this kind of shit. This is my thing, right? Let's go, right? I don't have no amateur fight schedule, nothing coming up. This is, right, I'm loving this, right? But then I thought it through a little bit. I said, when I beat this dude up, this kid ain't talking to me no more.
Right.
That's his mother's brother. That's going to be the end of this deal. So some kind of way that particular day, I get out of there and no fight happens. Come back the next day, they start right back up the same stuff. But I had a trick for him, Ness. I brought a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old into the gym that day. And I'm out there teaching them how to do floor work in front of the mirror. And everybody's looking. And nobody knows that these are my sons, right? And everybody's looking. And somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you gonna train your boy today? You got these guys, you gonna train your boy today? And I said, no, I'm not. I said, if I'm going to fight for a kid, it's going to be my kid. Mm. I said, I can't fight for him. He's not mine. I'm going to fight for mine. And that was the day that I made the decision to train my own sons. And then they went on to do great things. And so many years later, that kid that I used to train was a grown man, an adult. I seen him at church, and he pulled me to the side, and he said, man, I wish I had listened to you. Mm. Since then, since I've been living in Vegas, he sent me Instagram messages saying the same thing again, But that's the story, and that's how that kind of went. And if you're going to fight for something, make sure you're fighting for the right thing. So I fought for mine.
So the journey with Sean began at 4 years old.
Yeah, I took him to the gym at 4. Before he turned 5, that was 1992. Remember it like yesterday. Before he turned 5, he had his first sparring session.
Wow. Now, some people would say, especially now, they don't let them spar that young. Mm-hmm. They're waiting until like after 8, sometimes almost 12, right? What was
The age is 8. You can compete at 8. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you had him at 5. Sparring already.
Oh, yeah. He sparred. He sure did. But, again, think about a 5-year-old and how big the gloves are on his hands and how big the headgear on his hand. Nobody's getting hurt. But it's just the thought process of you're competing now. In his mind, he was competing. He was that thing he had been working on in that mirror for all that time, trying to learn how to do. He's now getting a chance to show that he can do it. And the actual guy that he was sparring had already had a couple fights, which was pretty funny. Years later, they wound up fighting each other in an amateur fight.
What was his name?
Isaiah Williams. Isaiah Williams, who was a great little boxer himself. Yeah.
Man,
that kid went on to be a champion, a national champion, not a professional.
How old was Sean when he made the choice to do boxing full time, Ken?
I want to say junior year, he stopped all the other sports. No, it wasn't. It was after the senior year, because senior year, he's still playing football. So senior year, he's playing football full time. He wasn't running track or playing basketball, but he was playing football full time, and he was boxing after the football season ends.
But you got a 5-year-old named Kenny Porter Jr.
Not a junior, but yeah, that's him.
And you say he went on to do great things. So
yeah, he won like 7 nationals.
And why did we not see him as a professional? Did he turn professional? What like give us the story on your other son.
You know, I tell this story and it's not a negative story, it's just life. I just told this to somebody the other day. A guy was talking to me and he was saying, you know, he stopped me in the store in the Walmart. Oh, it's Kenny Porter, how you doing? I was like, hey, how you doing? And then his brother was with him, and both of these guys talking to me. It's like, man, I was just talking about you the other day, Kenny Porter. I said, oh, yeah? Why? He said, well, I was telling my brother, his brother was with him. He said, I was telling my brother, you got to stop smoking around your son. And he said, man, that just because I smoke don't mean my son going to smoke. He said, no, man, I seen Kenny Porter. He don't smoke. And Sean don't smoke. So you got to stop smoking around your son. He said, the stuff they see us doing makes a difference. And then I looked at him and I was talking to both of them in the store. This is a Walmart, maybe 3 days ago. And I said, I'm in agreement with that. I said, but here's what you need to understand. And this is just my life and you can apply it to yours. I said, I had 2 sons. I took them to the same schools. I read them the same books. I said, when they were really young, I dressed them the same. People thought they were twins. They were wearing the same clothes. Gave them the same basketballs and footballs to play with, and they did all the same sports together, went to the same church. But the choices are theirs, what they choose to do with their life. So I didn't go any further than that, but to understand that that was his choice when he chose, you know, to get a girlfriend, or he chose to hang out with buddies and friends, or he chose to do the different things he chose to do. And Sean chose boxing, or Sean chose to continue with football. You know, or Sean chose not to take on the friends, or not to get a girlfriend at a young age, and things like that. So, you know, you can do all the same things with them, and the choices become theirs. And I say this as well. You get to choose the choice, but you don't get to choose the consequences. So winning 7 national championships on his end, he won like 7 nationals. There was at least 2 times they both won the national championship together, same day. I had a third fighter. 1 year, all 3 of them won nationals same day, twice in a year, right? But that other kid as well never turned professional, never went on to do anything more than that. Won, I want to say, 5 Cleveland Golden Gloves in 5 different weight classes, but never even became a professional. Kenny didn't turn pro either. He chose different things, go a different route. He moved to Colorado. He started up a family, you know, and you get to choose the choice. You don't get to choose the consequences. So he actually lives here in Vegas as well.
Oh, okay. So what line of work did he choose?
He went into sales. He went into marketing. He was even into events for a while here in Vegas.
So your and Sean's success never reinvigorated him or motivated him to get back into the sport? Because like you kind of see Jose Benavidez Jr. He went away. Obviously, he made some choices that were, different. And the success of his father and brother had brought him back, and he looked very decent in the Danny Garcia fight. That was never a thing. The sport never called him back.
It probably did, but there was other things calling him, and other choices, and the other choices that he made, boxing doesn't care about you. This got to be your number one. When you say, I do the boxing, and you get married to boxing, anything you do outside of that is like you're cheating on boxing. Mm-hmm. You're cheating on your wife. If you get a girlfriend, if you drive, you got a new car, or you got a car you like, and you drive that car more than you train. If you hang out with your buddies and your friends more than you train. If you now begin to smoke, if you now begin to drink, boxing is not going to wait for you. It's not going to care. It's not going to care. There were guys that Kenny beat in the amateurs that went on to become professional fighters. And they would ask me when I would see them play, hey, man, Kenny was so good, man. Where's he at? What's he doing? He's in sales. He's doing this. He's doing that. But the boxing, no, he didn't. He didn't take it to the fullest potential of what it could have been. But who knows? Maybe that was as far as it was supposed to go. But I know for a fact, let's see, he was national junior Olympic champion. He moved on to the older division. Back then we called it open division. At 17, the following year after he was junior national, he fought for the National Golden Glove Championship against Joe Green from New York. Mm-hmm. They fought on NBC. He lost that one. Came back, wins a tournament, goes to Sweden and wins the gold medal over there at 17. Then after that, they predicted him. USA Boxing used to put a magazine out with rankings, weight classes, boxers, and they predicted him to make the 2008 Olympic team. That was their prediction. I had nothing to do with
2008.
It. Yeah, I had nothing to do with it. That would have been with
Gary Russell, Demetrius Andre, Wilder.
Yeah, I had nothing. That was their prediction. I had nothing to do with that. He didn't compete. He didn't even go into any tournaments at that point. He didn't go back to any tournaments. He didn't take any trips. They were calling for him to bring him to the Olympic Training Center. Those were his choices. And then, Sean comes along and beats all of those guys and takes that number one spot. And the rest is part of history.
Wow.
Now, obviously, Kenny, you're still writing your history. What do you really foresee? Because you're moving around a lot, as you were saying. What are your plans or goals, aspirations as a trainer now?
I don't have any plans or goals or aspirations as a trainer. What I do as a trainer, I just do because I love to do it. And I love to help somebody and help them become successful. There's nothing going on with me that's saying, oh, man, I'm going to take this guy and we're going to do all of these great things and go, no, I'm going to do whatever I'm allowed to do with him, whatever he puts into it and whatever we can get out of it. So I got some guys that are successful, but I'm always pushing them to higher heights to do more, but there's not any on my behalf. If I wake up one day and they win the championship, I'm just happy they did that for them. It's not for me. None of this is for me. This is just something I enjoy doing, I love doing, and will continue to do because I love it. When I don't love it no more, I won't do it anymore. There's other things that I'm involved with that I'm, that I've diversified everything from rental properties to entertainment to dealing with different people in the music industry and other stuff like that, that I'll never jump out front and say, hey, guys, look what we're doing. It's nothing like that at all. Just do it because I enjoy it. And I'm in a place in my life, I'm blessed, I'm humbled, I'm thankful that I can do those things and enjoy it. Just actually enjoy it. I'm only here today because I'm enjoying this. I don't really even, I wanted to see what you guys had going on. Personally, you guys. I wanted to see what y'all had going on. I don't really go to people's studios or do a lot of interviews anymore, anything like that. It's not what, I want to do. But, the opportunity, the chance to be here, to look at that big boxing voice behind you guys right there. No, that's huge.
Thank you.
When I met Ness in this small little club show that we were in New York and
BB King
so many years ago. Yeah, BB King so many years ago. I mean, look, and then here we are today.
God is good.
Were you even living in Vegas at that time, Ken?
Yes, I was here.
Oh, okay.
All I remember is that back then you guys were with Prize Fighter, and I don't even know where that is. Who is that now? What was the name? Like, who was in charge of that back then? I
don't want to say any names. The company was not Prize Fighter. It was Prize Fights.
Oh, Prize Fights.
Right. I don't want to say any names about, any particular, but
I always say that story.
That's a crazy one as well, because there were so many fighters that came through their system who were signed under them, who were involved with them, that went on to do huge things. Why, you found them?
Already?
Don't take this guy. No.
Can I say?
You see all,
I mean,
you
if
don't
it's
gotta
on the
say their
internet.
names, but do you see all them champions them guys on there? Do you see that? All the guys that became champions?
Let me see. I'm trying to.
Well, I'll name some of them.
Okay.
Sean Porter.
Martin Murray. Okay.
Gary Russell Jr. Even Deontay Wilder was with him early on. One of the Charlos was with him early on.
Oh, so that must have been the Shelly Finkel company.
No.
What?
No.
Damn, all those same names ended with Shelly. Wilder, Charlo.
Lamont Peterson, Fernando Guerrero.
Wow,
the
that's
two
a lot
older
of people.
brothers of Bruce Ennis was with him.
Farah and Pooh.
Pooh and Farah.
Okay.
And he's a combination of both of them. It's great when I see him box because he's a combination of the way both of those guys box. It's amazing.
So, you said it's not called Prize Fighter.
No, it's Prize Fight.
Okay, yeah, I definitely ain't find it then. No.
Okay, that's cool.
That's crazy that there would be something with another huge notable name.
A lot of notable names. There's other guys that I don't even remember
I
that were
found
with
it.
them.
It says Prize Fight Boxing was created by brothers Brian and Russell Young.
You got them.
Oh, wow. They promoted Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson in 2002.
Yes, they
Roy
did.
Jones versus Glenn Johnson in 2004. I actually seen that fight. Arsenio Tarver versus Glenn Johnson. I seen that fight. These are Showtime fights.
Yeah, these guys had a lot of things going on.
So where are the young brothers now?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure they're down south, but
Okay.
no more boxing that I know of. Did you get a list of any of the fighters?
No. And this Wikipedia is extremely little. Like something was deleted. But let's see official website
Definitely.
if that's still working. No, that's also down.
Definitely deleted.
So I got James Valdez, San Antonio, Texas says, after Haney beats Kambosos and if Earl gets past Bud, who gets trainer of the year, Bill Haney or Derek James?
I'm gonna tell you what I think will probably happen. It'd definitely be Derek James.
Mm-hmm. If he beats Crawford,
Yeah,
he's got
it's Derek
two
James.
undisputed champions. It's impossible not to
it's
give
Derek
it to him. I mean, I feel for Bill because that storyline, it's a good runner-up. because you got to go to a foreign country twice to defeat, the champion. So, but not when Derek got 2 undisputed champs. It's kinda tough.
And I would say that Bill is in it not to be trainer of the year. He's
Father of the year.
He's in it to pull off Father of the Year. That's what he's doing,
Ken, I gotta ask. I don't know if we've ever asked you this before, but obviously you were in that position with Sean being your son, and obviously you training Sean. Would you have been okay with him going out there without you? Like if you was Bill in that situation where before the 11th hour approval, so they didn't allow him to go, Devin still went. Would you have been okay with that?
It depends on a lot of different things. My sons have gone out of the country without me.
On competition?
On competition. Kenny got a gold medal in the amateurs. Sean didn't get past the first night in the Pan Am Games. Didn't work out well for him. It depends on what's going on now. If you're talking about on the professional level.
In Australia.
40-something
thousand.
Me personally, no. No. Because I know all the different intricate situations that go on just with the fighter himself, not even all the other things you got to deal with the travel and the time change that will really hurt you bad. I don't want to, but the time change, it's totally flipped. So I've been out of the country in places for, you don't know, but I work with Manny Pacquiao, 2 different camps, 2010, 2011. And we would be over there 6 weeks at a time.
In the Philippines?
In the Philippines. It would be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would make fun of people standing next to me, falling asleep, standing up on their feet. Because to them, their bodies were saying it's 3 o'clock in the morning because the time is flipped, right? Well, after a couple weeks, somebody's touching me. I said, what you touching me for, man? You fell asleep. But we're standing up. We're not even sitting down. We're standing up, right? So that's one of the biggest things you got to deal with there, the time change and what it does to your body. Also, the travel is 20 hours to get to Australia. That's if it was a straight flight, but we know it's not a straight flight. So it used to take us like 2 days to get to the Philippines. And then after we get there, Manny wants to train on a mountain, so that's a 7-hour drive up a mountain.
What?
Yes. With no guardrails.
Wait. The drive up the mountain.
Yeah. 7 hours.
To get to the top, it's a 7-hour drive.
7 hours.
So how long was y'all stay up there?
So you guys driving to Georgia.
That's what we would do. We would stay there the whole entire time. We'd be there the whole 6 weeks.
Oh, okay. I thought he just was going on runs up the mountain.
No. But
Lord.
Yeah, that's
But that's high altitude, I'm assuming.
That's high altitude.
In these trips, is Glenn Tapia with you guys? Young Glenn Tapia with cornrows?
No, he hadn't started yet.
Okay.
He hadn't started yet. Funny story about Glenn, he was on my international junior Olympic team when he was 14. And I used to come into the room check. Hey, man, I told you guys quiet down. Be quiet in here. Quiet down, man. Be quiet in here. Go back. Somebody's in the hallway again. Somebody's out making noise. Music's too loud. I go back down the hallways. We were standing at the Olympic Training Center, not in Colorado, the other one upstate New York somewhere. I forget where exactly. And go in the room, and somebody jumped on my back in the dark. All the lights are out. The guys are in the room. Somebody jumped on my back. My natural defense was to throw them into a wall. He hit his head, bust the wall open.
Oh, the wall. I thought you were going to say that.
Nah, he wasn't bleeding. Glenn had a hard head. They turned the lights on, and it's Glenn. All the guys are laughing. I done threw him off my shoulders into the wall, but I had to pay for that wall.
So what was he trying to do? Was he just fucking with you, or
clowning around?
Okay.
Jump coach from behind when coach comes in, so everybody would think it's funny, but then coach
through him.
through you.
Nah, I didn't know if he was trying to snake you. I didn't know if he was on some bud shit.
Nah,
Dude,
he was clowning, playing.
Okay.
But yeah, Glenn was one of my babies too.
Coach, I gotta ask now, for you as a fan of the sport and as a trainer in the sport, what fights are you looking forward to? Like, yeah, can't wait for this one. This one right here is gonna be one for the fans. What fights are coming up that got you excited or you looking forward to?
Yeah, let's back up for a second though. Back to the upcoming Australia fight for
Devin.
young Devin Haney, and the question, would I have been comfortable? I would have never been comfortable with it. As a matter of fact, me personally, I would have shut it down. I would have shut it down.
Almost $3 million for that fight.
I would have shut it down. That's me personally, So,
would you have talked to Sean first, or would that been your recommendation? Is like, I don't think you should go if I can't be there, or you talking about shut it down? Like, the manager,
I'm talking about from the business standpoint. Everybody else, we're gonna go to the table and reschedule this situation. That's what we're gonna do. We shutting this chocolate chip cookie operation down.
So with that being said, knowing that he sent his son over there and wasn't approved, do you value the win for the son more, and do you value the win for the trainer more? Because obviously, like he said later on, he was allowed to get there, but they were focused on winning regardless of
whether he was going to be there or not.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing what they did. I mean, kudos to them. Salute them, clap for them, stomp my feet for them, everything. I support that. What they did, I could not have done. I would not have done. From a business standpoint, if you're investing in anything and you're making investments and you say, okay, this is a good investment for me here, I would not have looked at that as a good investment. That would not have been my decision to do. But I'm ready to answer your question whenever you're ready. But I did wanted to revisit that so my position was clear. And also what he did, what Bill did, amazing. What Devin did, amazing.
Well, now that you said that, I got to ask, not saying that you and Sean ever overlooked a fighter, but I'm sure, or was there ever a point in his career where you looked at the guy in front of Sean like, Sean gonna beat this boy ass?
No, I didn't look at anybody like that. No, I did not.
So you never thought he would have an easy night out?
No, because I approach everything the same. This is not to take away from him or to add to him. I go at everybody as a 6'6" and weigh 1,000 pounds. Never as a guy is lesser or the guy is not as strong as you or the guy is not as fat. None of that. I go at everybody like they, 6'6" and weigh 1,000 pounds.
That's
so
good.
I don't look at any situation like, okay, you just gonna go in here. Now, if we're doing something in that fight that's showing me that we can do more and we're not fulfilling that potential, I'm going to, bring that to the forefront. Hey, man, what are you doing? This guy ain't got nothing for you. Now that we see that. But not in preparation, not in that ring walk, not in that situation that we're dealing with at all.
Okay.
I know you can't say much because obviously you have a relationship, but being a person that's been on the other end of that phone, what do you think is the holdup for Spence and Bud?
I don't have a clue.
No clue.
No, I don't.
You've been in so many big fights. You've literally fought them both.
But I could speculate, but I don't have any
Give me
clues.
your speculation, because you as a team have fought Earl and Bud and Danny and Thurman. So you've been in big fights.
The speculation is money.
Okay.
The speculation is money.
Guaranteed money, you mean?
Yeah, the money.
And let me ask you, though.
The date, the venue, all of those things.
So you don't like November 19th?
I'm fine with it. I'm great with it. I'm there.
You don't like Vegas?
I love Vegas.
So
and that's the fight I'm looking for that I can't wait to
venue
answer your question.
Venue and date shouldn't be an issue. I think, and I'm speculating, but again, my speculation is like I got this wide net I'm casting here. You are a little more, you know, you can hit the bullseye closer. So
I like the way you put that.
I feel like Crawford is used to guaranteed money. On paper, because he was with Top Rank, it was always a lot of guaranteed money. Like publicly, they're saying he got paid $6.5 million to fight your son. Then he got like $5.5 million to fight Khan. So it's like, how do you fight this man for 3 belts for less than that on paper?
Or even for
What's the number on paper?
There's no numbers being floated out there. There's one. It's not the bestest of sources.
The bestest?
I wanna believe this guy because he's like one of us. He's trying to come up. He's been doing this thing for years. And he rumored the $8 million and a 3-fight deal.
I haven't heard anything at all. There have been no conversations that I've had or been in with anyone except you guys right now this entire year about that particular fight. I haven't had any conversations. Nothing's been mentioned to me. Nothing's been tossed out. Hey, what do you think about this or that? Nothing at all. And that's, you know, as you said, my scope is a little bit, I can see a little bit better. I can see a little bit better.
From your experience,
Money.
Is there still enough time for them to satisfy both parties and make this fight on November 19th, which is exactly 67 days away?
I don't know where they're at with it. Honestly, nobody knows. It took us.
Yeah, but you're speculating money. So if it's just money that we need to get over the hump, is 67 days enough for promotion in your eyes for the magnitude of this fight?
If they announce it today,
that part of it, yeah.
Oh,
it can sell out. It can sell out. It can, yeah.
So
you
Ken,
can
obviously you've been there. You've been in the big fights, and obviously you've seen the big fights as well. This fight, a fight that we've personally wanted for some years, but
at least 4.
How big is it in the sense that Nez believes this fight deserves a 5-city, right? You said 5-city fight tour?
I would like to see them go to New York, Los Angeles, Nebraska, and Dallas. Of course. Both of those.
That shouldn't be a problem.
We haven't seen anything like that since Mayweather-Canelo.
But that shouldn't be, it really should not be a problem for a fight of this magnitude. Go ahead and put that together for these guys.
I wish.
If Terrence wants to be at home in Nebraska with that, you should go. Dallas, you definitely should go.
Sean always
New York and L.A., you gotta go.
Sean always stayed in the gym, never stayed too far from his fighting weight. That being said, can they call y'all today like it's done, it's official? For example, like your last fight when it was Sean versus Terrence, it's official. We need Sean out of Las Vegas for 1 week. We going on tour. As a trainer, are you taking into consideration, all right, 67 days, we going to be gone a week.
We losing 7, now we at 60.
Yeah, so now we at 60 fight week. You know, you got to do all your
losing
events.
Another 7 in fight week.
Now, given all that, is it still enough time for
days.
For you as a trainer? Let's say
everyone is different. In a beautiful world, I'm going to give you an example. In a beautiful world, all right? Let's say you've got 6 weeks to a fight.
Mm-hmm.
In actuality, you only have 5 weeks because fight week you're not training. You're not doing anything.
Cutting weight.
No. Yeah, right. So, okay, so you got 5, right? The parties involved have known about this at least 6 months ago. And they should have been training and preparing and getting ready. And different phone calls have been made that have gave them some type of indication that it may be happening. And it could be happening in November. So they should have been doing all the different things that they're supposed to be doing to get prepared.
Which I believe they are. We seen Derek James post on 2 separate occasions. Like he was on vacation in Jamaica, and then he's like, all right, time to go home and get ready to get 1 more belt. There's only 1 fighter in his stable that needs 1 more belt, you know? So then he posted again, and I think it was something insinuating or having the word undisputed. So it's like They're training. I'm worried about Crawford, who I've seen kind of in Houston, seen him here in Vegas on Sean's show, seen him help me. Colorado. He's a little bit of everywhere.
He was in Oklahoma. Being so, he was
in Miami. He was in Miami for the basketball game with 50.
No,
the
that was
Tycoon
Houston,
weekend.
Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was 50 saying the next one is in Miami?
I guess.
Right.
Yeah, this one was Houston. But, I mean, being told he's in Colorado Springs training nonetheless. So.
And again, back to that particular situation, these guys should have already been training. These guys should be at a high level of training and be able to taper off and stay here.
But, Coach, you seen Bomac in the gym yesterday. This level of fight, undisputed, do you separate from your fighter who's going up for undisputed? Do you separate for 2 weeks to come train Keyshawn Davis for 2 weeks in Vegas?
Each individual is different.
I'm asking you.
Okay. So I'll give you an example where that particular situation lies at. If you've been doing what you're supposed to do, and I got you to a certain level, I'm going to keep you there. Just keep the flame on, right? It's not on as high as peak. Just keeping it simmering, and you're in shape. I can leave you for a couple days here or there and come back to what we got going on. But no, I can't leave you for a week to 2 weeks because it only takes a fighter 1 week to get out of shape.
Not even if you're leaving them with an assistant?
Even
coach?
if you're leaving with an assistant, I can only leave you for maybe 2 to 3 days.
Well, let's keep in mind that in Crawford's situation, there's no head trainer. Even though people
and in that
look
situation,
at it,
like I said before, everybody's different. In that situation, whatever they got going on in that corner, that dynamic, I don't understand it, but it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can do that and may be able to do that and get away with that and have been able to get away with it up until this point. It works until it doesn't work.
And to end this topic, you've trained Earl. Like you said, he was the, star of 2012, the amateurs team. And you fought both of them.
Yeah.
From, the corner, obviously. Who are you picking? And even if you're not picking anyone, who are you leaning towards?
Earl.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Why?
There's a lot of different things that go on there, but the number one would be the bigger fighter in the fight on fight night. That's a huge advantage for him on fight night. Fight night, he's X amount of weight classes above his weight class. That's a huge advantage. So that would be one of them. The 1A would be technically extremely sound fighter. Always has been,
What do you think? He's a light heavyweight or a super middleweight on fight night?
What do you think?
I don't know, man. I'm being real. I mean, because back in the day,
super middle. I'm thinking
back in the day, HBO used to have fight night weights.
Put it this way, he's going to be bigger than any super middleweight he fight.
So you saying that's a lot of weight, 28 pounds, a lot of.
Yeah, because Chavez was notoriously known to, balloon up 20 and 22 was the most, but that's because they were weighing him.
I guess what 25 would be the super middleweight limit for him, right? Or 28 or 23, something like that.
Listen, and I'm not pointing fingers at them. I'm going to just talk about my fighter, who I'm trying to get to understand that this is not an advantage for him. I got a fighter that fights at 135. He's undefeated, 7 wins, no losses, right? He hasn't made 135 in one of those fights. Because in his mind, mentally, if he is 36, 37, 38, whatever it is.
He can make 35.
No, he's bigger than the guy he's fighting.
Oh.
Right? Then, after he makes weight, he eats and drinks all day and all night after the weigh-ins, he'll sit next to with a gallon of water next to the bed and drink and drink and drink all night. He'll get up in the morning, coach, let's go eat. He'll have more food than anybody there, and I'll be on his,
But don't that make him sluggish?
I'm trying to get him to understand it, but it's not working.
And what's he think he's doing?
He thinks he's just going to be the bigger, stronger fighter.
Oh, he thinks he's getting a weight advantage.
This guy goes into this fight weighing about 156 to 57, maybe even 58 pounds in that 24-hour period. If he's 7-0 pulling it off, what do you think other guys at the higher level are doing?
Yeah.
He's coming back into the fight damn near 20, 25 pounds heavier than he would weighed in at every time.
Wow.
Every time. And I tell him I said, dude, this is not an advantage. But he thinks it is. And mentally, in his mind, it is. And if he's not allowed to do that, he's not going to feel like he's at his best.
But do you physically see him not performing as good as you think he would? Because if he's still performing at a high level, I say, fuck it, man. Whatever works for you, right? It's his psyche. If that's what he needs to tell himself so he could go in there confident, then okay, unless you're saying you're physically watching it make him less than. It makes him less than
no matter what, because as we get further along in his career, he's not going to be allowed to do that. And then it's going to play the mental game on him. When he's not allowed to do that, it's going to cause him problems. When he has to get down to 135 or lower, that's going to cause him problems. So it's going to be a problem. Now, if you have the ability to manipulate your weight, as some people do, make the weight and go all the way as high as these guys go, and you go in there and you can perform, go ahead. You're doing it, and you've done it, and you've been successful with it. And that's what's going on in that particular fight. You got a guy that no matter what he's doing, I don't know, no matter what Terrence does that night, he's not going to be able to be 160, 70 pounds, 70 pounds plus that night. He's not going to be able to do that.
But as a trainer, would you say weight wins fights?
No, I'm not going to say weight wins fights. What I'm trying to say, if you have the ability to manipulate your body, make the weight, you have the ability to hydrate, eat, come back up, be big and strong, and still maintain your speed, still maintain your quickness, still maintain your ability condition-wise to go 12 rounds. You're doing something that other people can't do. That in itself is an anomaly, a skill that no one else has, and the guy that you have can't do.
So again, I'm not sure that Crawford can't do that. Now I get that.
I've never seen.
Well, I'm about to explain
I've never seen
to
him
you.
that heavy.
I'm about to explain to you. Now I get that Earl is the naturally bigger man who was fighting at 52 as an amateur, but have you seen the HBO? It's called what's it called? Something with the word ring.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a special they did many years ago, probably
Bud. I think it was Bud's last fight at 35.
Yeah, like the shit he put himself through to lose weight. It was insane.
HBO basically highlighted him like losing. I think it was like 12 pounds in 4 hours or something. 12 pounds. It was a good amount of weight in a small amount of time.
But he was mummified. Like, so, we talking about a guy that is doing that same thing that Earl's doing, except he did it to get even lower. He was at 30 and 35 doing that.
And that may not have been the case. That you don't know all the intricate things that were going on there. And let me give you a perfect example of that. Maybe at that time, which I don't know, but maybe at that time, Crawford wasn't eating right. Crawford wasn't training right. Mm-hmm. Crawford was taking things for granted and waiting to the last moment, minutes or whatever, to try to get this off, and had to really struggle hard to do whatever he had to do to get it off. And then maybe moving forward after that, he learned from that situation and he got better information and education about his nutrition, learn more about his muscles, learn more about his blood, learn more about hydration, and learn better ways to eat as he matured and got older or get more experience in his career. And moving up into weight classes as he did became more of a natural growth for him and better served him than, staying down at the lower weight classes. So the information and education he may have now in comparison to what he had then, the chances he took back then made him not want to take those chances now. Maybe he's a different person in terms of how he approaches and gets ready and what he puts his body through. Man, I don't want to go through that ever again. I'm never doing that again. And maybe he learned from it.
Go ahead.
Last thing for me, should Terrence Crawford defeat and be successful against Errol Spence? Could you see him do what he said and move up and fighting Jermell Charlo?
Defeating Jermell Charlo. He called him, he said, after I beat Earl, I'm going to go beat your cheerleader.
And I'm not saying...
Do I think he could do it? Nah, I don't think he could pull that off.
What?
I don't think he could pull that off.
But do you think that he would even attempt?
Maybe he'd be ambitious like that. I don't know.
I mean, we just seen Danny move to 54.
Yeah, but Danny moved there
strategically.
Yeah, he moved strategically, and he moved there for a lot of years. He was already getting up to them weight classes, on fight night or in between fights. And so it was time for him to move, whether he wanted to or not. His body just probably no longer.
Crawford's been at welterweight for a minute
no longer
now.
could stay there.
I mean, Crawford won that WBO title probably 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2018.
Yeah, but I'm talking about again. You say you're moving to 54, but that guy you're fighting at one. Okay, back it all the way up. You go back and look at Sean's box rec, and you watch. His first title he won was at 154. He weighed 153. And then you look at the weights, 152, 151, 150, 149. I don't think we did 48. I think from 49 we dropped to 47. But basically, he took 1 pound off each fight to move down. Because the title that we fought for at 154 on ESPN, we weighed 153. On fight night, we was about 158, and the guy we were fighting weighed 175. And I said, there's no way we can continue to fight at this weight class and give up that kind of weight on fight night. So the guy that he's talking about challenging at 154 is not going to be 154 on fight night. That guy's 180 plus pounds.
I'm going to get to some of these questions from the people before we get you out of here. We got Ruin of 504 that says, do you think that Ness will ever be ready to run it back with Sean?
Ness and Sean. Yeah, I heard about this trainer that Ness been working with lately, and he's got a lot of insight on what it takes to compete.
I don't know, Coach. I seen him I seen him working the other day, and Ness wasn't looking too good with the trainer. I know it take time, but Ness wasn't looking too good.
Yeah, it does take time, but I respect the trainer, and I think that guy knows what he's doing. I think Ness gonna be better than he's ever been before. He's gonna get a chance at Sean. Yeah, he might have a run at getting some rounds in with him.
So let me ask you this. So said trainer, because my man
said trainer.
Yeah, I'm just saying no, because said trainer must have not really dug down.
He's talking
on
about
that.
himself because I'm training with him.
Obviously, I was saying that he must have not really kicked your back in, because if he don't allow drinking or girlfriends, you out here, blowing it up.
Well, I got a girlfriend and I don't drink, so yeah. But listen, none of that matters until you can't do the reps.
Look, Sean will fuck you up right here. Y'all can fight for the desk.
And I'm not saying that he won't. I'm not saying that he won't. But as long as, Ken says, hey, can you do this? And I try and I can, I'll keep doing it. That's it. I'm not a quitter. I actually feel good, so thank you. I'm excited to see what 30 days straight would be like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
We're gonna have to get on a 30-day challenge. I'm serious, man. I'm telling you.
30 days?
I'm feeling swole right now. For real. Feeling swole. But we got the best dad ever all the way in Baltimore says, what is the biggest fight to be made in boxing? Also, do you see boxing growing, falling, or just at the levels it's always been as a sport?
It's in some ways it's growing. It's leveled off. I think the MMA took a lot from it, a lot of attention from it. I think if we continue with some of the things we're seeing now with celebrity boxing, and also with, like we just seen these NFL players box each other over the weekend, that kind of stuff like that, it's going to keep people looking. If we could get some of our promoters to bring some of those guys into boxing a little bit more, it's going to bring more eyes to it, more attention to it. Bigger fights, the one we're waiting on right now is the biggest one for me personally, and I think it's probably the biggest fight for boxing in Crawford and Spence. I would love to see a Wilder Joshua fight. That would, from an excitement standpoint,
Hell
for me personally.
That's something we've been wanting for years. I would love to see that fight.
For years.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And then there's a, I don't think these guys have got, they haven't gotten to this point yet. But, Boots, when he gets a few more notable names, not that he's not ready for any of the names now. He's ready for everybody, I believe. But, he's going to be a marquee guy against other top level guys, when that class gets to that point, to see Boots against either some of the top guys who are at the top now on their way, or the other guys that are coming up, or even to see him rematch the guy that he lost to in the Olympics or the Olympic trials.
Who's that, Russell?
Yeah.
Do you feel that the winner of Earl Spence and Bud Crawford should face Boots?
Nah, I think they should rematch.
And after the rematch, should they then face Boots or move up?
I see, some of the fights in that 54 to that 47 range being something that could be exciting, to see. I know Spence ain't fighting Charlo.
Even though he said he would under the pressure of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said, if you friends, get that money together. And he said he'd be willing. It's Charlo that's a little reluctant.
But I see those as being some great fights.
Spence, Charlo.
If we could get something like that to happen, I don't see those guys fighting each other. They're just too close in everything that they got going on. And
it would be big in Texas, though.
Right, and it'd definitely be big in Texas.
Yo, nice.
But
me and you, come on, 50,000 apiece.
Of course.
Let's do it.
But, see, that's how they need to be.
They need
exactly
to say yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly how they need to be.
The Boots and the Ortiz and
that'll never happen. The Ortiz is with Golden Boy.
Right. Well. The Crawford and the Boots and the Crawford and the Spencer. Those guys. The conversation's got to get started.
Yeah, I don't think either of those two welterweights will face Boots. I think Boots is in an unfortunate situation where he's going to find himself looking at Crawford and Spence fight each other once, even twice, and then watching the winner move to 54 while the loser still won't face him. And neither is Keith Thurman. Like, no one wants to be the gatekeeper. No one wants to be the torch passer. Floyd didn't pass anyone the torch. Like, they're not doing it. I want them to in a perfect world. You stay there a la B-Hop or Ponce de Leon and keep defending them titles, But it's expensive, too. I'm asking you to stay there and give us this fight versus this contender that brings nothing to the table. And, hey, by the way,
you're paying 12% to the sanctioning bodies.
No, the dude that you're fighting, he's getting paid just as much as the sanctioning bodies when you add all four of them belts up.
That's true.
It don't make sense. It don't make sense, but I want it to. It's unfortunate that Boots is going to get a vacant title versus like a Stanionis or a Butayev or a Jamal James, where we got him as a minus 800 favorite over those names. Like, none of those names are a 50-50 fight, and not Thurman either.
Or a 60-40.
Thurman, he's going to need to show us he can, he's going to need to beat Boots to really solidify that he's back. And with Barrios, did you see what Barrios did to his body?
Yes.
Man, my man is breaking apart. He's deteriorating. What's going on with Durbin?
Time. All of those guys that came out of that OA class, they're right there to compete against each other. They're still right there competing and doing well. But to take on that young lion, young gun that's coming up, that's probably not what they should be doing. It's not advisable.
All right, we got Canna in Nebraska. He says, can we get your thoughts and predictions on a few fights this weekend? Canelo Triple G 3, Bivol versus Zurdo, Haney versus Loma, given both men get a pass if they're fights. I don't know what the hell I mean. But anyway, yeah. Canelo Triple G.
Canelo.
Bivol Zurdo.
I don't know Zurdo.
Gilberto Ramirez, the dude that beat Jesse Hart
him.
twice.
Oh, Bivol.
Bivol over him.
Yes.
Okay. Haney over Loma? Haney versus Loma?
Haney over Loma.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
think now is the right time. Well, after
the Cambosis.
he takes care of this business, he's got to handle that, obviously. And, that's a lot. It's a lot more than just fighting a guy on fight night. Like I said, going to Australia and everything else you got to deal with that along the way. That's a fight. That's what I call the fight before the fight. Mm-hmm. They're fighting before they even get there. That thing. But I think now after that is the right time for Devin to take on Loma.
Jazz, how similar do you think the amateur game and the pros are?
They're not similar. They're not similar at all. They're not similar at all. I think, and I don't agree with guys turning professional, 15, 16 years of age. But I think when they turning guys pro now earlier and younger ages, because a lot of times they're getting disappointed with what's going on in the amateur system.
Absolutely.
And not only are they getting disappointed, but then, you're looking at all of these other young guys doing it and you're saying, hey, I can do it too, or their coaches or their managers think they can do it as well, And if you're going to do it, if you're going to box in the amateurs with a headgear off, you might as well go ahead and box in the professional.
And get paid for it.
And get paid for it.
Absolutely. Especially now, I think about it, how many young amateur fighters weren't aspiring to be fighting in their home country, 2028 Los Angeles, and now it seems like we won't get boxing at the 2028 Olympics. So,
yeah, I've heard that.
I have Brandon in Houston that says, hey, Kenny, thanks for coming on. Think back over the course of your career and every fight you've been in the corner for. Now think of any losses you may have been a part of. If you can go back and change the game plan for any of those fights where you were 100% confident this change would result in a win, can you tell us which plan you would change and what you would have done differently for the win?
Nah. There's no change in the game plan. Getting the fighter to follow the game plan is what I wish I could have done in a situation. That changing the game plan. No, we actually had the right game plan in place for the Kell Brook fight. The right game plan, the right things the strategy, the things we worked on was in place. And it was identified after the first round and said to him in the corner what he needed to do. He was stuck on trying to do it his way in that situation, and it wasn't working out. And we dealt with that a lot throughout the fight. When you're trying to get a guy to do something and he's just like, oh, I heard what you said, but I'm going to do it this way. This works. And it doesn't work. And then after it's over with, and they learn from it, but it's too late. That particular fight would be the one that stands out as, it was identified early. Listen, Sean, he's grabbing you, he's holding you. Put your combination together, get around him so he can't hold you. And it became a wrestling match on Sean's behalf. The only other thing that I can say about that is you know, during this fight, we're begging and pleading with a referee to stop the holding, and we get nothing. And we even get shut down to the point where the commission is telling us stop yelling at the referee about the holding, you know. And at some point in time, you just looking at the situation and you're saying, damn, if we're going to get thrown out of the corner if we don't stop, you know. But it's up to the fighter that we have to listen to what we're telling him to do to take that situation and take control of it. And in that particular situation, he did not. But if you switch roles or switch locations and take Sean to the UK, you think Sean could have held Kell Brook and got a decision? Or would he have been disqualified?
Yeah, disqualified.
He'd been disqualified.
Do you regret throwing in that towel? Especially now that you know that he was up on the scorecards?
Are you asking that question? Or there's somebody on the screen?
Well, I asked you this already?
No, I'm asking who's asking the question. Where's it from?
No, that's
What's
me.
his
That's
name?
me.
Oh,
No, that's me.
That's
me.
Nah, I don't regret that at all.
Even knowing he was up on the scorecards?
No, I don't.
What round was that, Danny?
I believe the 10th. Is that around 10th?
So knowing he was up on the scorecards now, and that being the 10th, do you think he couldn't have made it to the 12th round?
He wasn't down on the scorecards.
No, he was up.
I'm saying, no, he wasn't up on the scorecards. He was actually down.
Sean.
Narrowly.
Man,
now,
I had him winning.
On the official. Now, I did too. And
everybody had him winning. Crawford's trainers came to the corner and told him, like, yo, you down. Bradley said he was down.
That's who it was. I think they said it wasn't the trainers, it was the commentary
team. Yeah, but the commentary team said it and the trainers related. That's why he looked to the corner like, what? How they got me down, remember?
No, I don't. No. And I would do it again. No, I don't.
So you don't think he still had it in him, or what was it?
You don't think he had 2 more rounds in him? Like, Sean ain't never been stopped.
Then there was obviously something wrong. If he got stopped, if it had to be stopped, there's obviously something wrong.
But people question it because of the banging.
The phone call comes to me and it says, Kenneth, no one knows the sheep better than the shepherd. Which means nobody knows him better than me. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. So it should be obvious to people that are watching or were watching that something was not quite there, something was wrong, something was off, something wasn't in, the way it was supposed to be.
So what did you interpret him banging on the canvas as? Because obviously as fans and, spectators, we interpreted that as him being full of energy still. Him still having gas in the tank.
Damn, my dad told me not to do this shit. That's what that was. That's what that was.
It wasn't like, man, I got caught with that BS because I had my hand down.
It was exactly what I just told you. That's how I interpreted it.
Mm. All right. We got...
He made decisions. He no longer wanted me to make the decisions. And so you leave me to make the final decision. The decisions that you made put you in the situation you're in right now. Bamming on a canvas. If that's what you're doing, if that's your reaction, then you're not focused on what's going on. You fighting Errol Spence, you get caught with a harder shot to me, a much harder shot than you got caught with in the Crawford fight. Your glove touches the canvas, and you barely touch the canvas with your glove. You slam your gloves together and you say, come on, let's go. And you look back at me and you're like, I'm ready, let's go. That is the guy that I know is ready to go. That's the guy I'm not throwing a towel in on. Not a guy that's, losing it emotionally or, bamming his hand on the canvas or,
If Sean doesn't pound his fist on the canvas, gets back up, do you think you still throw the towel in? If that doesn't happen?
It doesn't even matter that he's bamming his hand on the canvas. There's things leading up to that I'm looking at and I'm seeing that's saying, okay, it's only a matter of time here, and I got to make sure that the kid is safe. That's up to me to make sure that he's safe on my watch.
If his sons wanted to fight, would you train them?
If they come over with the gloves next week, we're going to be in the front room with it. I've got videos of them doing their thing.
Oh, wow.
You know, they've been doing it at home. They haven't been doing it with me, but they done had headgears on, gloves, the whole.
So the 4-year-old fully understands Deshaun was a boxer.
Oh, absolutely. He definitely understands it.
Oh, that's dope.
He definitely understands it. And he's been to the gym multiple times. He's done floor work with him. He's done stretching with him. You know, he's done all the different routine exercises with him. You know, and it's the cutest thing to watch him emulate his dad. Now, how far he goes with that is up to him.
But as the grandfather, can you or do you feel it's out of your place? Because obviously this is the same age you brought Sean and his brother into the gym. So, you know, the oldest is 4. So it's about that time, according to Sean's
situations are totally different now. I was a single father, and they had to go with me. They had to do things that I did because that was a way of life. I think a lot, and this totally encompasses what went on with Sean on fight night in his last fight. Sean has things going on in his life that he loves more than he loves getting punched in the face. He loves his wife more than he loves getting hit. He loves his kids more than he loves getting hit. He loves his house more than he loves getting hit. He loves family dinners more. There's so many more things that he loves more. And when those things take over, boxing, as I said, doesn't want to be a side chick. Mm-hmm. It's got to be number one. So things are totally different now for him. There's so many more things that he can do with his sons that'll make him happy, that'll keep them happy and laughing than boxing. With me, it was my life. With me, it was what I did every day when I got off an 8-hour job. I'm picking these kids up from school. We're going to the gym. We're working out. That was my life. This is what they were born into. If
I got to ask, Ken, how'd you become a single father with 2 boys? Where was the mother?
Don't say it like that. No, I went to her and I asked if I could have them. I wanted to raise my sons.
You had custody of your children.
Yeah.
And she turned it over? It wasn't a battle?
No battle at all.
Wow.
No. You know, I went to her and I said, hey, you know, God told me that a father's supposed to raise his sons.
And how old were you when this conversation happened?
22, 23. I said, if we had little girls, you know, I got Sean when he was in diapers. He did go back a couple of times, but, you know, basically that was the start of it. He was in diapers. And the dude wouldn't go to sleep. He would come to my house and be sitting up in the bed 3 o'clock in the morning with his hands behind his head like this. And I'd be like, I'd turn over and look at him and be like, what is you doing woke, man? Why didn't you sleep? I'm waiting on my mama.
He had a deep voice like that?
Yeah, he had a deep voice.
Yeah,
I said, she ain't coming, dude. Go to sleep. You know, and he grown now. You could catch him sleeping in his bed just like this.
Was he or was he not asleep on ESPN?
No, he wasn't asleep.
Okay.
They got mics in their ear. They can hear everything. So it's a joke. They're playing on the crowd. They trying to get some views and likes and all of that. It's gonna go viral. Hey, Sean, we're back on now. And he knows what, and they're telling him what it is. He knows exactly when they came back on. And he's just sitting there soaking it up, you know? And nah, he wasn't asleep.
He fooled a lot of people, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that became the storyline, that he was burning the candle on both ends, and that's why the fight looked the way it looked.
And you guys know from working in studios, someone's back here talking to you at all times. Mm-hmm. So you know exactly what's going on, when they're coming back on. Exactly.
Did you hear it just now?
Yeah, I heard it. And so you know what's going on in his ear, and they're laughing like, "Oh, we're back on, Sean. Oh, this is great, Sean. Oh, you're playing it up,
The
Sean. This
ratings
is
are
great."
through the roof, Sean.
Yeah.
Thank you. We got B-Lo from Phoenix, Arizona that says, what are some of the qualities you wanted to instill in Sean as a kid and how? He was just relentless in the ring and always a good sport no matter what. Never complained, always came prepared. Thanks for your time, Coach.
The thing we talk about instilling, is he referring to boxing or life?
Probably life, because the later part of it is more of a statement of him just, giving praise to the way that Sean was. He called him relentless in the ring, always a good sport no matter what, never complained and always came prepared. So, I mean,
You know what? It's I was just blessed, and he was a blessing as a child. So the things that I wanted to instill in him, that I wanted him to be, that he was all of that without me even doing it. And it was great. But, you lead by example, as the guy in Walmart was saying to me. He's telling his brother, man, you can't smoke because if you smoke, your son gonna smoke. Right. So you lead by example. That's the thing that I did. I led by the example. So I never drank. I never smoked. I never did drugs. I didn't hang out with people that did any of those things. I never brought any of that to our home life. No one's around to be able to have a bad situation and it get worse because I brought somebody to my home that maybe drank or smoked or did anything like that. So the things that I wanted to instill in him, that I wanted him to be involved with, which was, God, getting a good education, being a good person outside. He already was that person. He was already that kid next door that you want, to, come next door and help clean a yard or rake the grass. He was that kid. He was that all the times. And sports was just something that he was really good at, but excelled at to the point where people thought that's who he was. But outside of the ring, he just always have been that person that you always want to have around you. And then he was very studious, a very good student. He was just, you never had to worry about him doing his homework. You never had to be on him about just grades, none of those things.
KB Kojo says, after Earl and Crawford move up to 154-pound division or retire, who do you think will emerge as the top fighters of 147 weight class? Boots, Ortiz, Haney moving up? All question mark.
I don't see Haney up there, but I definitely see Haney maybe at 40. Boots, definitely. I would say that Boots is the number one guy once those guys move on.
Big Casual says, what up, Coach? Are you familiar with the heavyweight contender, Jared the Real Big Baby Miller? And I think he meant Anderson. But he says, do you think he is ready for Daniel Dubois fight, or would you continue to take your time with such a young heavyweight?
I take Dubois yesterday.
With Jared Anderson?
Yeah.
You know him?
Some years ago. Do I know Anderson? No. Don't know.
So you stopped completely the amateurs after 2012 or something?
Yeah,
okay.
I did. That was pretty much my last time going back and working with them and doing anything with them in any kind of camps. I did the World Championships with them, and then there was the Olympics, and then I had a choice of going to the Olympics or sticking around for Sean's first HBO fight, and I said, nope. It's like going to Australia. No, I'm going to stay here with my kid and do this HBO deal. So, yeah, that was that. But Dubois, I had a chance to meet him in the UK 6 years ago. And I think that'd be a great fight for Anderson, and I believe Anderson stops him.
Yeah, I like what I see in Anderson. Hopefully, he keeps leveling up. And Top Rank has been moving him pretty well.
What happened with him in the Olympic trials?
You don't know. Don't know. I don't know.
So the kid from Philadelphia won the trials?
Who, Kanto?
No.
Damani Rock.
Damani. He won them?
He definitely beat Cam Austin, yes, right here in Vegas. I don't know if that was the trials, though.
Let me see.
I think it was.
I'm just wondering what happened to Anderson in there. Where was he at in that situation? What happened? Why didn't he pull out? And then Rock has not pulled it off in the pros. Has he got 1 loss, 2 losses?
Who?
Gennadiy Rock.
1. He's got that 1 loss to Coffee. Never came back after that.
So let's see. He upset the field to win 2017 USA Nationals, repeated national championship in 2018, and then decided to turn pro rather than pursue a spot on the 2020 team.
Oh, he didn't even go. Okay.
Yeah, because he turned pro. He turned pro October 26, 2019, on the Shakur Stevenson, Joel Gonzalez undercard in Reno, Nevada. So that was before the pandemic and Olympics and all that.
Well, those are all the questions, Ken. I want to thank you, obviously, for coming in and being a great guest, answering everything. We're going to go ahead and end it, take a picture, and be back tomorrow in our building at 6 a.m. for the Breakfast Club of Boxing. So catch us on the next one. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO.
Ringwalk Danny on Instagram and Twitter, and we are the Boxing Voice. Catch us tomorrow.
Ken, where can they find you?
Porter High Performance. That's PORTERHY Performance. Should be a green Jeep pop up in it. Just click on it. That's where I'm at.
One last one. Candy Slim is saying, without stepping on anyone's toes, who would you like to train? So basically, is there someone out there that you would like to be part of that team?
No.
No? You wouldn't want to come into something that's already pre-existing, huh?
No, it's training with me. And this is just because of my belief in God, my belief in the higher power, my belief in fate, way my life should be. The guys that I'm training right now, those are my little brothers. These guys are brought to me for bigger reasons than them boxing and winning championships. There's no way possible that I have the situations that I was born into, that I dealt with, and become successful in life. And the most successful part of my life has been being a father. But there's no way possible that those things happen to me and I lose the closest thing to me at that time, which was my brother at a young age, that I get multiple brothers reaching out to me and have an opportunity to work with them. So I actually at one time, about a year ago, had 3 sets of brothers, 2 from Kansas City, 2 from the Atlanta, Georgia area, and 2 from Dominican Republic. I didn't believe that happened just by luck. I believe that God wanted me to work with these guys. Now, what happened after that was up to each individual. But, you know, these things have happened to me, and I felt that I was compelled to work with them and help them, not just in the ring, but help them in life. What happens after that is up to them. What they decide to do with it is up to them. How much they put into it, how much they get out of it is going to be up to them. Because at some point in time, you know, God speaks to me, but he don't tell me to be stupid. You just keep pouring money into them or keep giving them your time. And, you know, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. You got to carry your end of the load, meet me halfway. There's no one that in particular that I would have an interest in working with or doing anything with. People reach out to me all the time, and I find a nice way to say no.
What's the biggest name you've turned down? Like, did Wilder reach out and you said no? Who reached out that you said no? What's the biggest name?
No. When I said people reach out to me, it hasn't been anybody on those levels like that. And I don't wanna say anything that looks bad. There have been some undefeated guys, and I just nicely and politely chose not to. And there have been some guys that are on TV all the time. And I just nicely and politely said, no, thank you. It doesn't work for me. It's not a situation I want to be in.
I want to know.
Now, when I got the call about Anthony Joshua, which I will name drop right there.
Oh, wait, he called you?
No, not him.
Oh.
Somebody from the UK. When I got the call about that,
you got excited?
No, I don't get excited about things. I was happy to take that call and let them know, yeah, I definitely, if he has any interest, I definitely will talk to the kid or listen to what has to be said, because I had already had a relationship with him. I had already spent time with him in the 2012 World Championships and sat and had lunch with him every day for the entire week. You know what I mean? So, but, when people are sending me DMs and Instagrams and Facebooks from other countries and Canada and Nigeria and all these different places like that, and when people are reaching out to me about these fighters they got in Uzbekistan and where Lomachenko's from and stuff like that, I just find a nice way to say no. I don't even use the word no. I just find a nice way to get out of it, because, this is my time and I can't get it back. The money I can make, the time I don't get back.
Did you hear the comments that Robert Garcia made in an interview after the AJ Usyk second loss?
No.
Yeah, he's basically saying, like, AJ has to get out of his comfort zone, and, that his camp is too plush, too nice, I guess. Interpret that however you want. Would you ever train a person away, or do they got to come wherever Ken Porter is at?
I can do that because I love to travel. So having an opportunity to go different places and do different things and stuff like that and being uncomfortable, that's great for me, being uncomfortable.
But what about the fighter? Does the fighter not need to be taken out of that comfort zone? Is he, for AJ, training in the UK is probably being pulled in so many different directions.
Here's the thing that I know about boxing. Again, back to the same thing that I said about, your commitment has to be to it, just like your wife and your life. And anything outside of that, your wife's going to be unhappy. So happy wife, happy life. If you're not doing those same things with boxing, it ain't going to work out for you. It's just not going to work out. So in order for a fighter to be really successful, especially on a high level, he's got to always be uncomfortable. He's got to always be hungry. Right now today, I have a couch. Well, actually, it's 3 of them in my house that I will not sit on until after 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Because if I sit on either one of those couches, they're called cat nappers. They got a little button on the side. It goes all the way back. It could turn into a bed damn near, right? If I sit on any one of those couches, turn on that TV, have anything to eat, or just sit on that couch for any period of time, I'm relaxed and my mind becomes too relaxed for me to accomplish the things I need to accomplish through the day. So when I leave here today, I got to keep moving. I can't sit down. So once fighters become comfortable, once you get a beautiful girl, once you get too many nice cars, once you can eat whatever you want to eat, whenever you want to eat it, you soften up. You become domesticated. You're like a domesticated cat, right? I need you to be that dog that's tied up in the yard that ain't got nothing to eat, that's growling and barking at everything that goes by because he's pissed and he's mad because he don't got nothing to eat, and it's 900 degrees out in Vegas and I'm hot as hell and they won't give me no water, no food, nothing, and I'm ready to chew something up. But you take him inside and you let him sit on that couch and you give him the food and the air conditioning and everything else that goes along with it, and he softens up. So boxing overall, or a boxer overall, in a comfortable situation is all bad for him. It's probably you on your way down.
Would you say that there is some rare cases in the sport where they're able to be successful even in their comfortable setting? They don't have to leave away for camp, or they may not have to get away from their family?
I don't believe so. I don't. In my estimation, no, I don't believe so at all. Right?
So
even,
course,
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say. So then you would probably agree with Shakur Stevenson. So he lives in Houston, Texas, and he is holding camp currently for his upcoming fight in Houston, Texas. But for camp, he got a rental house. him, the team, everybody staying in the house to get away from his girl, his daughter, and be away from the family. So you would be okay with something like that?
Yeah, that's what's needed.
Okay.
That's what's needed. That is definitely what's needed. And as I related it to, a dog that's comfortable in the house and the air conditioning's laying on your couch or your floor on the carpet, in comparison to the one that's tied up in the yard and ain't got nothing to eat, got nothing to drink, and mean and hungry. Once you soften up, you go from being this sharp razor blade to this dull butter knife. Yeah, you can still cut things, but you ain't cutting as good as you used to cut.
Well, on that note,
and on the Sean Porter situation, he loves his wife more than he loves boxing. He loves his kids more than he loves boxing. He loves his lifestyle, his home. He loves sitting in front of a microphone and calling a fight and getting paid without getting punched more than he loves boxing. And you've got to have that hunger, and you've got to have that edge to be able to cut through everything. And if you're not willing to live that way, then you're on your way down. And I used to say, man, that how many weeks we got in a year? 52 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, it's 52 weeks in a year. All I'm asking you for is 6 of those weeks out of this entire year. You got 40-something left over for yourself. Just give me 6. When you put it that way, I could do that. And then he would do it. But then at some point in time, it's like, I'm going to still do some of these things during this 6 weeks. It ain't going to work, buddy.
Well, Ken, we do appreciate you coming in once again. Just your social media for everybody tuned in.
Porter High Performance on Instagram. Porter, PorterHY Performance. Funny story about him.
Danny?
Yeah, man. The very first time I ever seen this dude, I think it was a Canelo fight. Was it a Canelo fight?
Man, Ken, I don't remember.
I think it might have been. I don't know. It was some fight, but there was Mexicans everywhere screaming and yelling, and this dude was inebriated, and he was screaming and yelling at me. And I said, why are you yelling at me? He said, because I love Sean Porter. He's one of my favorite fighters. And I was like, okay. You remember you had a flag?
I believe you. I don't remember, but I believe
you had it
you.
like a cape.
Damn, like a cape, Danny.
Yeah,
You was wearing it like a cape.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean,
He was wearing it like a cape.
yeah, I 1,000,000% believe Ken, because, I would literally, I wouldn't miss a fight event. I'm at, fighter rivals, everything. So
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm sure that was the case.
Especially for a Canelo fight. Yeah, I got to see Danny get special for a Canelo fight.
So let me tell you, Ken, obviously Canelo and other fighters have been known to fight Mexican independence, which is this weekend, and then Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
My birthday happens to be Mexican independence. Last name happens to be Alvarez. So, I would.
Yeah, your birthday is what? The 16th, though, no?
Yeah, a couple days
Yeah, it
away,
is.
something like
That was definitely a Canelo fight. Yeah, go ahead. Tell it.
No, I mean, I
Oh,
honestly,
that's just it.
yeah, no, I mean, I honestly don't remember. I believe it, but I definitely, one thing I will say about Ken, even as a fan, it was like, it'd be a media only event, and like I'd show up and they'd see me around. They knew who I was. They didn't know who I was, but they'd see me, so Ken would always let me in. But y'all gym used to be too damn hot, Ken. Yo, I remember when
the high performance
oh
one
my
or Barry's?
God. No, the high performance, too damn hot.
Too
damn hot. Yeah.
That was a dope gym, though.
No, it was beautiful.
That was.
But I think that
Very
that like whole parking area, I think they put like a triple layer of asphalt, so when the sun would bounce, it was just raised too high. It was bad. It was bad, but
That was my favorite fan. The day that dude was screaming and yelling at us, that was like, okay, this dude is really into this. This dude, he got a cape on right now. This dude wearing a Mexican cape.
I remember Sean
Screaming,
first fight
yelling.
that he saw me working for you. He was like all happy because he was like, yo, you was like that fan that's now here. And just the other day at Top Rank, like we were just talking about it, like his transition as a fighter, now doing his show, and then me from the fan to being in the field, and now obviously doing this show. But
Nah, it's surreal, man.
And it's gone all the way around and come back around. Same thing with you, Ness.
Yeah, man.
BB
It's been a
Kings.
beautiful journey, man. I'm excited to see what the next 5 years will bring us. I remember telling my, significant other that, and we haven't even gotten to the full 5. But I'm like, watch what's gonna happen in 5 years, and then all this has come, and that 5 years hasn't been even complete. So I can't just imagine the next 5, man. It's been a wonderful journey for sure. I've gotten to see the career of guys like Sean and Keith and Danny, from the beginning. Earl too, the whole 2012 crop from the beginning. So it's pretty cool, man. But last super chat is from High and Low Sports Centrum that says the boxing voice is more. On that note, we are out, fellas. Cut it. Thank you so much, Ken.
thank you, Ken.
Thank you, guys.